What's going on, guys? I hope you're doing well today. In this video, we're going to look at why I bought TMZ, or Thomson Resources Limited. Now, right off the bat, this isn't financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor, and this isn't a recommendation to buy or sell this stock. This video is simply an insight into the decision-making process that I went through, and it's going to be quite cruisy. It's going to be a bit relaxed, a bit slow. I want to go through step by step because I know there's a lot of you guys who don't really know where to get certain information, so I'm going to walk through the whole process while I sip on some nice Pinot Noir. So first things first, let's go over the absolute basics. So we've got a stock that's 2.3 cents. If we look at the chart, we can see the recent action that's been going on in the past few days. We can also see, if we zoom out, that this is an extremely thinly traded stock. There is almost no volume. Now, I personally love this for a small micro cap stock. It pretty much means nothing's been happening and all of a sudden something has been happening, because we can see these volumes here in the past month or so. So let's see what's caused it. If we go to the announcements tab and we look at TMZ's announcements in, let's say, the last 3 months, we can look, sorry, last year, and we can look at the latest Appendix 3B, which is down here. When we open it up, we want to scroll all the way down to Section 8, and this shows us how many shares are on issue. In this case, it's 118 million shares, which I consider to be a very low amount. In fact, I would set the minimum at about 80 million for my personal preference, and the top end is about 800 million. So 118 is a pretty sweet number to have. What that means is there's going to be less selling pressure, there's less likelihood of historical dilution, less likelihood that there are people wanting to get out, and there'll be less sell pressure because there's less shares on the market. So what you can do is take the 118 million shares, and we bring up our calculator, and we can calculate the market cap. So 118, let's round it up, multiply that by 0.023, which is latest share price. So that's 2.7 million market cap, which is extremely low. We can also go to the summary tab here and scroll down, and we can see it's 2.61, but that's based on yesterday's closing price. So we've gone up a pip, and that's moved it to 2.7. Now, why this stock is interesting? Well, let's open up this prospectus document here that came out 2 weeks ago. This is the rights issue dispatch of prospectus. Now, what we have here is a company that's decided to do a capital raising, and a relatively small capital raising. I believe they raised about $900,000, and that was, you can see it all in this document here. They raised at 1.5 cents. So if we look back, we can go to the charts and we can see exactly where the capital raise price is, which is here at 1.5. So we're sitting above it at the moment. Now, these guys have raised 1.5 cents, and that's all well and good, and they added on 59 million shares. So when we have 118 million market cap, we want to add on 59.5 million basically, because that's what the cap raise is doing. It's adding an extra amount of shares. We can multiply that by, what's the current price? 0.023. So the market cap after dilution, in a couple of weeks time, the market cap will be 4 million. So going from 2.7 to 4 million isn't really a big deal, because there's substantial value in this stock in the near future. At least I believe there is. So let's say we've got a 4 million market cap stock. Now, if we scroll down, we can see why they raised this money. They have a project here, and it's the Harry Smith Gold Project. So they're using that money to fund this project. And they have a historical drilling of 9 meters at 9.2 grams per ton from 38 meters, which is very shallow. Now, if you don't know how to interpret this announcement or interpret these grades, I did an ASX tip video, I believe it's number 9, called How to Interpret Mining Results. So 9 meters at 9.2 grams per ton. If the company can manage to replicate these drill results, whether it's this result here or this result here, the 17 meters at 5.2, both of those are brilliant. If there can be multiple strikes with similar grading, similar shallow depths, and similar strike lengths, this would replicate companies that sit in the 30 million market cap range. Now, it's not a perfect estimate, but it is give or take plus minus 20% at that point. It does give a broad range because we don't know what the drill results will be, and we don't know how many drills there will be and how many of them will hit these good strikes. But if they hit multiple strikes, that'll be the sweet spot. If we can replicate anything like this, then this will, almost by default, shoot up to around $30 million. Now, will it do it overnight? Probably not. It might take a couple of days, might take a few days. It's really hard to judge how long that'll take. Now, in the announcement, there is a mention of when drilling will commence, and it's anywhere from late June to early July. So there hasn't been an announcement yet that they've begun drilling, but it should start pretty much imminently. Now, if we scroll down, they also have another gold project, but I believe they're only doing sampling for that project. And of course, they got the Baigu Tin project. Now, I don't think too heavily of this project, but look, it's something to add to their portfolio or to their tenement list, basically. So here's the other document, the prospectus, and basically it's the same thing. It's just a little more detail. And it shows where they're using the money that they're raising in the cap raise. So they've done a 16.6% discount, 16.6% discount, which is perfectly fine, $900,000. And what that money will go to is the Harry Smith project, and like I mentioned, the geographical surveys, the surface sampling, and just really the entry-level stuff. And we can see that this is the one we care about. The drilling program is going to commence at the end of June or early July. Now, when that drilling happens, that's where we want to see that 9 meters at 9 grams per ton. And we're sitting at a company that's at 4 million market cap. And if they can replicate multiple strikes of 9 grams per ton at 9 meters, and that's shallow, that is roughly an 800% gain, potentially. Now, of course, they do surface sampling at Yalgorgon, and that doesn't interest me too much, but look, it doesn't hurt to expand their gold project. So we scroll down, and this is basically the dates that we can see in relation to the capital raising. So we have a record date, so anyone that was holding, and that's eligible holders, so we don't have like institutional holders, at least that I'm aware of. So this went to everyone that held shares. They have a right to buy additional shares at 1.5 cents. And that X date was 15th of June. And basically what it means is if you held shares at this time, then you could apply for the additional shares at 1.5 cents in the capital raise. And there's a shortfall if there is any. I can't imagine there will be a shortfall, but I'm sure someone will hop in on it. And basically the shares will come out on the 15th of July. Now that's all well and good. Really, that's the only downside to this stock, if I was to mention one, is that, look, there is a cap raise, but what can you do, right? That's a normal part of microcap mining, is the cap raise has to come in order for them to fund the drilling. So why is this interesting? Well, there's a bunch of companies out there. We can look at something like AGS, or Alliance Resources Limited, that have a market cap, if I go to the market cap, of 31 million. And we can see exactly the kind of grades that these guys are hitting. 9 meters at 25 grams a ton. That's really nice. But their other strikes are a lot thinner and a lot less grade. So you can probably average that out to 9 meters at 9 grams per ton for the rest of the strikes. Then we got ARL. If we go to the summary, we can see it's another 30 million market cap stock. And we can look at some of their gold projects. We've got 18 meters at 3.3 grams from very shallow as well. 14 meters at 2.4, 20 meters at 2.9. And that's all well and good. And they have a secondary project as well. So 4 meters at half a gram. We've got 5 meters at 3.9. I mean, these are the gold results that we have for a 30 million market cap company. So this gives you an idea, at least a rough idea, of what to expect from TMZ should they hit that multiple 9 grams per ton strikes. That would be brilliant. We'd be looking at roughly 30 million market cap. At least that's my expectation, and that's what I'm hoping for. Now, the other thing worth noting, and this is a bunch of companies you can look into around the 30 mil market cap range if you're interested in doing company comparisons. It's all here for you. Around the 20 24 to 39 million market cap range, and these are all gold companies. So feel free to do your own research. Feel free to find out what kind of gold results these companies have and do the comparison yourself. Now, we can look at the top 20 shareholder list, and this is the marketindex.com.au website. Now, it is a little bit out of date by a few days because I'll show you soon that Australian Minerals and Waterwell Drilling, they sold out around 6 million shares today. So this major holder decided to sell out. I don't know if they bought into the cap raise at 1.5 and they're planning on selling everything. It's hard to say. But basically, we have a 77% holding of the top 20 and 23% goes to everyone else. So it's quite a nice looking register. Having a company that has 77% held by top 20 is great. But obviously with Australian Minerals and Waterwell, they did sell off a large portion of their holdings today. So if we go back to TMZ, we can see here today there's actually a lot of volume came in today. And that happened around the 2.3 cent mark. And we can see in the announcements actually tonight at around 8 p.m. there was an announcement I saw today that someone sold out. I guess it's not here for some reason. I go into Hot Copper at TMZ. Oh no, that's a slightly older document. My apologies. But we did have AMWD that I mentioned before selling out on the 26th of the 6th. So we do have one major holder that decided to abandon the stock. However, there has been quite a lot of interest because of the gold story. So again, guys, look, if you can see the history here, there's not much resistance. There's next to no volumes historically. So the sell pressure, the only sell pressure that really exists is people selling out from the cap raise. So we can consider this a 4 million market cap stock once the shares come into play. But even at 4 million market cap, I thought that this was an absolutely brilliant play. It's funded and it has historical grades, historical drill results, and they are stunning. So guys, if you found this interesting, please do hit that subscribe button. That'd be much appreciated. It really makes a difference to my channel if you hit the like button as well. Appreciate it, guys. Have a good one and best of luck.